dear net aspirants and friends. Once again, welcome back to our channel, High Point. So, like you can see now in this old video, we are going to learn about a comedy by William Shakespeare as you like it. So we have been learning about most important plays written by Shakespeare. So we were seeing most famous and important plays only, but still the list is very long. As soon as it get finished, we will move to the next author and the next stage. Then we will finish one day this whole lecture series of English literature, about English literature. So about Elizabethan age, I have made a particular playlist that will be shown here in the I button. You can go to it and watch the full audio. So far, we have about the Elizabethan age and its major authors and works as well. So let's begin about as you like it. So you can find me in these platforms through my website, and WhatsApp number is there, and also a WhatsApp group is there, and the link to join that WhatsApp group is given there in the description box. You can go there and click and join. In that WhatsApp group, you will get daily quizzes and also news and updates related to UGC Net English, as well as you can also follow me in Instagram, and FB group is also there. You can join it if you want. The links are there in the description box, guys. You can go and click and join and follow. Let's begin without wasting time further. Let's have an introduction to the play. It's a pastoral comedy by Shakespeare. So what is basically pastoral? Pastoral shows the lowliest of life, like people who are actually living in communion with the nature, especially the shepherds and all. Their life and their way of life, all those things are there as elements, and it's a pastoral comedy by Shakespeare. It has a very romantic mood which is away from the common life and routine life of England, and also it actually shares most of the characteristics of Shakespearean comedy, and also it has a very happy ending in that way also. This is one of the major comedies by Shakespeare, and it is probably written in 1599, and it was first published in the first folio in 1623. And this point is important because I have seen questions asking about from the given list of works by Shakespeare, which all are not included, or which work is included or not included in the first folio of Shakespeare in 1623. Okay, so please learn this point, okay, or note down this point if you are making a note out of it. And there were mixed responses from critics and from viewers and audience and critics. This work actually received mixed responses. Its tone is very comic and romantic. Like I said, this is a pastoral romantic comedy in which romance is or passion of love is prominent, and also the comic nature that it possesses. The tone is also comic. The setting of this particular play is of 16th century France, primarily a fictional forest of Arden. So I have already seen, of course, I have seen a question, not only one question, but several questions asking about the fictional locale or fictional forest that we could generally see in Shakespearean plays. So here in As You Like It, in this particular comedy, we can see the fictional forest created by Shakespeare, and the forest name is Arden. And remember this, it is not England, but it is the setting is in France, and the protagonist name is Rosalind. 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 What is the conflict raising here, and what is get resolved towards the end of this comedy, and that brings the happy mood towards the end of this comedy? So what is the conflict? Rosalind was unjustly banished from Duke Frederick's court, while her lover Orlando also denied his birthright by his jealous brother Oliver. So both the protagonist and her lover Orlando, Rosalind and Orlando, they are facing some injustice from the surrounded people, and they were both banished, and they were forced to go away from the common life, and they entered into the forest army, and how they are solving this problem, and how they end up in marriage, and how they get back their position in the normal life. Okay, so that is the major story. The story revolves around this particular conflict. Okay, now let's see the major characters of the play. Let's see the court of Duke Frederick, and two groups of characters we can find. Court of Duke Frederick, there are some characters are then, and then household of the deceased Sir Roland D. Boyce. So basically these two groups related to, first one is related to Rosalind, and second one is related to her lover Orlando. And in the court of Duke Frederick, the first character comes here is Duke Frederick. Duke Frederick is Cecilia's father, and Rosalind is Duke Senior's daughter. Okay, and Cecilia, Duke Frederick's daughter and Rosalind's cousin. Okay, remember that Duke Frederick is Rosalind's uncle, and Cecilia, his daughter, is Rosalind's cousin, and Touchstone is here, who is a court fool. So remember this name. I have seen some question asking about him. In which comedy by Shakespeare we can see this fool Touchstone? And Touchstone is one of the famous fool by Shakespeare. And Le Beau is here. He is again a courtier, and Charles is here. He is a wrestler, and lords and ladies of the court, they are also present there. In the household of deceased, or about to die or dead Sir Roland D. Boyce, who all are there? Oliver D. Boyce. Oliver D. Boyce is the eldest son and heir of the house, and Jacques de Bois is the second son, and Orlando de Bois is the youngest son. So there are three sons, the first one and the eldest one, and the heir is Oliver de Bois, and Jacques de Bois is there, then Orlando de Bois is there as the youngest son, and Orlando de Bois is the lover to Rosalind. And Adam is there. Adam is a servant who follows Orlando in his exile. See, when Orlando was given nothing after his father's death by the two culprits, two elder brothers of him, and he was forced to go to the forest. Adam is a servant who follows Orlando when he goes for an exile. And servants and announcers were there in the household too. So these are the characters. At least remember the important characters. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for you to remember the storyline. Or remember the storyline very strongly and effectively. Then you can obviously remember the characters' name. Now, and there are many more characters are there. Some characters are there we can find in Forest of Arden. Exile court of Duke Senior in the Forest of Arden, and country folks in the Forest of Arden. See, there are a group of people who actually comes to the Forest of Arden from the urbanized land to the forest, and already the residents of Forest of Arden is also there as characters. See, Duke Senior is there. Duke Senior is Rosalind's father, and also Duke Frederick, older brother. So now he is also not there in the court, but he is also banished, and he is also there in the forest. And Duke Frederick, older brother, is Duke Senior and Rosalind's father. And Jacques is a discontented lord. He is not satisfactory. He is not satisfied. It's a kind of discontented lord is there, whose name is Jacques, and Amiens is there. Amiens is an attending lord and musician, and lord in Duke Senior's forest court. These are the major characters who are exiled in Forest of Arden, and the country folk that is there in the Forest of Arden already. Phoebe is there. She's a proud shepherdess, and Silverus a shepherd, and Audrey. Audrey is a country girl, and Corinne an elderly shepherd, and William is a countryman, and Sir Oliver Martext is a curate. So these are the country folk, those who are already residing in the Forest of Arden. Now, moving on. So now we have seen an introduction to the play, and also the characters, groups of characters that we have in here, the play as you like it. Now let's move on to the plot of the play. The play is set in France. Like I said, the play is set in the country known as France, and most of the actions are happening in the forest area, the imaginary created forest of Shakespeare. But no, most of the actions take place in a forest region covering an area located in the southeast Belgium, western Luxembourg, and northeastern France, known as Ardennes. Okay, so this forest area is located in the southeast of Belgium, western Luxembourg, and northeastern France. So, it is surrounded, this forest area is surrounded by these lands. And when the play exposes or begins, Frederick usurped his older brother, Duke Senior. So Duke Senior was usurped, or we can say he was cheated by his, or his brother Frederick, Duke Senior's brother Frederick, played on him, and he actually took the power from his hand, his own elder brother, Duke Senior, unjustly. And Frederick's character is revealed here, that he usurped his own older brother, Duke Senior, and he gained the power of the dukedom. Then what happens is Rosalind, his daughter Rosalind is there, and even though Duke Senior was exiled, or Duke Senior was banished from the land by Frederick, his daughter Rosalind was allowed to stay in the court because she was very close with Frederick, only child Cecilia. Because of that, Frederick's daughter's name is Cecilia, and Rosalind is very close with Cecilia. And if he banished Rosalind along with her, along with her father Duke Senior, then that will be a blow to Cecilia. So he doesn't want that. So he allowed Rosalind to stay there. Meanwhile, Orlando, he fell in love with Rosalind at first sight, also forced to flee from his house as his older brother persecuted him. So, like I said, Orlando being the youngest one, if you see the law and regulations of France at that time, you can see the oldest one gets the all the power and the properties of the properties of the family, and the younger ones actually, they have to beg, or they have to stay in mercy of that eldest man, or eldest son of the family. So Orlando, being the youngest one, he didn't get anything. His brothers actually plotted against him, and also he was forced to leave his house and go to the forest. And Orlando, he was already in love with Rosalind when the play begins, and his love was love at first sight. See, about Shakespeare's most major plays, his comedies, tragedies, tragic comedies, Roman plays, and problems, I have given detail. About Shakespeare also, I have given detailed lectures in my website known at www.highpoint.in, where you will get 900 plus audio lectures, and also 300 plus downloadable PDF materials, and practice and previous question paper all the way from, from 2004 onwards, you can find there, and you can attempt them live and know your marks instantly. So you can go and visit my website to know what you have to, a systematic study, to have a systematic study towards UGC Net English. So moving on, and you don't forget to join the WhatsApp group if you are interested. Moving on, Rosalind and Cecilia also decided to flee from the court, accompanied with a touchstone. See, even though Rosalind was at the mercy of, Cecilia is favorable, but since Rosalind no more finds her father, and she feels threatened all the time, right? So Rosalind and Cecilia, both of them, they were friends and sisters, and they decided to flee from court, accompanied with the touchstone. Touchstone is the fool here, and Rosalind disguised as a young man, and she took the name Ganymede, and Cecilia dressed as a poor lady known as Alina. Okay, so this you have to remember, because I have seen question asking about the cross dressing happening in Shakespearean comedies. Okay, in Two Gentlemen of Verona, in Twelfth Night, and in As You Like It, in this play as well, we can find that as a lady or a woman is cross dressed as a young man. And Rosalind here, she disguised as a young man and took the name Ganymede. And Cecilia, she also dressed as a poor lady known as Alina. Please remember that point, okay? And both of them arrived at the forest of Arden. Now the major activity, major plot is happening in this forest, and Orlando also is there in the forest, and Rosalind's father is also there. Duke Senior is there, and Orlando, what he is doing there in the forest, he is now posting simplistic love poems of Rosalind on the trees. So he is basically writing simplistic love poems on the barks of the forested trees, and Rosalind eventually meets Orlando, but Rosalind is disguised as Ganymede, as a young man. So Orlando obviously he doesn't recognize Rosalind in the who is appeared in the form of a young man whose name is Ganymede. And Phoebe is there. Phoebe is a who is a resident kind of proud shepherdess who is there, and with whom Silverus is in love. So Silverus, who is Silverus? Silverus is a he's a lord, and with Phoebe, Silverus is also already in love with Phoebe, and but Phoebe, in turn, she fell in love with Ganymede. See, there is a love triangle is going on. While Silverus fell in love with Phoebe, Phoebe fell in love with Ganymede, because Ganymede, even though originally Ganymede is not a man but a woman, but a lady known as Rosalind, but nobody knows that. She is appeared as a young man, and Phoebe fell for him, and this is one of the major quality of Shakespearean comedy, that every love will happen at first sight. So Silver is in love with Phoebe, but Phoebe in turn fell in love with Ganymede. But Ganymede, even though he is continuously or she is continuously shows that she is not at all interested, because he is not she is not he. She is Rosalind in the form of a young man, or crossed as a young man, and touchstone falls for Audrey. So a lot of falling in love happening. Touchstone falls for Audrey and forced to marry her before wooing her. So Touchstone, he fell in love with Audrey, another shepherdess. But being a country girl, she was not allowed to be in love affair with Touchstone. But he has to marry Audrey first in order to woo her. Okay. Next, finally, what happens? Silverus, Phoebe, Ganymede, and Orlando, they all come together in an argument with each other over who will get who. So anyway, Orlando is in love with Rosalind, and she is not here. But Orlando doesn't know that Ganymede is whom is Rosalind, and Phoebe is in love with Ganymede. Silver is in love with Phoebe. So these four people, they come together and they have an argument with each other who is going to get whom. Okay, but in between we can see that Ganymede and Orlando, they often meets and they discuss about love, and the lady that they love, and also they discuss that kind of thing, and they both discuss about the consistency that they should show in in matter of love, and they discuss many things related to the passion of love and all. So once this argument arises, they arrive at a decision, like Orlando promised to marry Rosalind. Okay, Orlando is already committed, and Orlando says that I have promised to marry Rosalind, and Phoebe promised that she will get married to Silverus if she cannot marry Ganymede. So Ganymede is her prime choice, that she won't get, that we all know as audience, as the readers of the play, we know that Ganymede is no one but Rosalind herself. So Phoebe is now way to get married to Ganymede. But Phoebe is unaware of it, and Orlando is also unaware of it. So Phoebe, she arrives at the conclusion, and she promises to Silverus that, see, after a certain point of time, if she did not get married to Ganymede, she's obviously going to marry Silverus. And Orlando rescues Oliver from a lioness in the forest. And Oliver is Orlando's eldest brother. And Oliver, he came to this forest land in search of Orlando in order to destroy Orlando and kill him. So Oliver, because he is a potential threat to Oliver. So Oliver, as he came to the forest in search of Orlando, Orlando in turn he rescued Oliver from a lioness in the forest, and this made him to repent about his acts, about his deeds and injustice things that he has done to Orlando. So in that way, there is a transformation happens in the character of Oliver. He was evil enough in the initial part of the play, but later, as Orlando saved him in the forest from a potential danger, but because of that, Oliver turned soft to Orlando and he repented about his past deeds towards him. Then Oliver, as he was there in the forest, he sees Elena. Okay, Elena or Alina. Okay, Oliver sees Elena and falls in love with her. So, Elena is Celia, right? Rosalind's cousin, who is dressed as a poor woman, who is dressed as a shepherdess. So Oliver sees Elena as they were staying together in the forest, and he immediately falls in love with Elena, and they agrees to marry. There is no love triangle goes on. Elena and Oliver, they were perfect match, and Oliver doesn't know Elena as a duke's daughter and all, but still Oliver, being humble-hearted now, he agrees to marry her, and Elena also agrees to marry Oliver. In the final scene that Orlando and Rosalind, Oliver and Celia, Silverus and Phoebe, and Touchstone and Audrey, these four couple, they got married. Okay. In the final scene, Orlando and Rosalind, Oliver and Celia, Silverus and Phoebe, and also Touchstone and Audrey, these four couple, they got married. And after that, in between Rosalind's and Celia's true identity revealed, and even uh, see this Duke Celia's father also came in search of Celia, and he also repented with his brother, and they witnessed the celebration, and the marriage was happening, so everything was happy ending. And after that, they also see that Frederick also repented and adopted the religious life, and he left the dukedom or the country for his brother again, and everyone was restored to their rightful places and all. And towards the end of this play, Rosalind speaks an epilogue to the audience, commending the play to both men and women in audience. Rosalind is addressing both men and women in the audience, and Rosalind is the one who delivers the epilogue to the audience. So Rosalind is the protagonist of the play. So that's all about the major action going on inside the play. Now let's see major themes, motives, and symbols of this play. So please remember, cross dressing is one of the major theme as well as motive happening in this play that actually promotes major action of this play. And we can see love as a major chief chief kind of chief theme and subject of this play, and the malleability of human experience, then city life versus country life, and cross dressing. So these are the major themes, motives, and symbols that we can see in this play known as you like it. So that's all about this work. This was a small video, not that lengthy and all, but this will definitely help you to understand the storyline of As You Like It and major important points related to As You Like It. So you can obviously find me in these platforms, and if you have any queries, questions, and doubts related to this play or any other play, or if you want any help from my side or our team, from our team for your UGC Net Jar of Goals, you can obviously contact me in this given number here. You can obviously join the WhatsApp group and let's have a chat about your queries and discuss your what will help you, or you wanted to have with regard to UGC Net English, I'll be very glad to lend all of them. And you can mail me in this mail address as well, and visit my website and know what you have to learn to have UGC Net and JRF. This is systematically arranged. You don't have to, rearrange anything. You can follow the chronology, and one after another. All you have to, listen to the audios and make notes, and come back to the audios and notes again and again. Download the PDF materials, go through it, and brush up it. You can obviously, collect these downloadable materials and keep it for your further use in your career, and also attempt the previous and practice question papers. In that matter, everything will be easy for you to achieve your UGC Net JRF goals. So let me thank you for watching this video till the end, and also if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and press the like button, and also share this with your friends, guys. So that's all. Meet you in the next video. Bye bye.